If your team runs cloud workloads, AI services, developer pipelines, or internet-facing infrastructure, today's security question is simple. Which patch changes your blast radius first? This is Daily Tech Hack Global for August 11, 2026. The facts in this briefing come from NBD, CISA when reachable, and linked vendor advisories. I will keep the discussion defensive, no exploit commands, no payloads, and no step-by-step attack chains. The lead item is CVE-2026-14450. NBD describes it as, a flaw was found in the MOS API. This vulnerability allows any pod within the cluster to bypass the quadrant off policy gateway by forging HTTP headers, specifically xMOSIS username and xMOSIS group, which are trusted verbatim. This lack of first-party authentication enables an attacker to gain unauthorized access and escalate privileges. The concrete consequences include the ability to mint Kubernetes service account tokens and other tenants' namespaces, revoke API keys, and exfiltrate sensitive model access company. The recorded severity is critical with CVSS 9.9. Why it matters: runtimes and orchestration nodes sit underneath AI services, CI jobs, and production workloads, so identity and image trust can become blast radius multipliers. The second item is CVE 2026-10050. NBD summarizes it as, in Eclipse Jetty, the digest authentication server-side component uses ISO 8859-1 to encode the password as bytes. This was done because the initial specification for HTTP did not specify explicitly a charset, and it was assumed to be ISO 8859-1 for historical reasons. If the password contains characters that cannot be represented in ISO 8859-1, they are silently replaced by? This happens with passwords that contain Chinese, Cyrillic, or Greek character. Severity is critical with CVSS 9.1. The operational takeaway is to map this advisory to exposed systems, service credentials, and any automation that can turn a small weakness into a larger incident. Item 3 is CVE 2026-71944. D-Link DWRM961 devices with hardware version C1 and firmware version before 1.1.5_C1_202607071108 contain a command injection vulnerability in the /bo from /phone to photo upgrade QUETL interface. A remote attacker can inject arbitrary malicious commands into the photo_URL field, resulting in command execution with root privileges. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.8. Defensive context, prioritized by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Item 4 is CVE 2026-71956. D-Link DWRM961 devices with hardware version C1 and software version 1.1.2_C1_202602110044 contain a command injection vulnerability in the app CGI interface. A remote attacker can inject arbitrary malicious commands into the netdig.ping.dst field, resulting in command execution with root privileges. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.8. Defensive context, prioritized by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Here is the defender checklist. First, identify whether any affected product is internet-facing, reachable from CI systems, or reachable by AI agents and automation. Second, patch according to the vendor advisory, not just the headline score. Third, review service accounts, API keys, pod identities, OAuth apps, and tool credentials that could be reused if the affected system was compromised. Fourth, add monitoring around unusual admin actions, image pulls, tool calls, authentication failures, and outbound network requests. Fifth, document what was patched and what was deferred so tomorrow's team can audit the risk instead of rediscovering it. The larger lesson is that AI security is not only prompt security. It is the security of runtimes, cloud services, tool connectors, identity boundaries, and the operational process that decides what gets patched first. Patch what is exposed, reduce what is privileged, rotate what may have leaked, and make automation prove what it is allowed to touch.